Good evening and welcome to Nationwide Today. I'm Elizabeth Omori, and happy independence. Sustained peace, unity and progress are some of the wishes Nigerians pray for as messages of hope continue to mark the nation's Diamond Jubilee. Najat Tijani compiled the messages and now reports.
For Kogi State, the celebration of Nigeria's 60th anniversary provides another opportunity to consolidate on potentials of abundant human and material resources to advance the economic and social development of the state. Francis Udojo reports that was the crux of the Independence Day message of the Kogi State Governor Yahya Bello. And from Asaba, Tessie Koka reports that the Governor of Delta State, Ifeanyi Okowa, marked the celebration with a Thanksgiving service while praying for the Thanksgiving service and called on the federal government to intervene on much needed road rehabilitation. Meanwhile, the chairman Senate Committee on Information, Senator Danladi Sankara, has congratulated President Muhammadu Buhari and Nigerians on the occasion of the nation's 60th independence anniversary. The senator commends all those in the theater of war against insurgents and the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 and urges Nigerians to continue to observe all safety measures against the infection. In Gombe State, it was a double celebration as the state marked its 24th anniversary, while the governor made a commitment to women and youth empowerment to mark 60 years of Nigeria's independence. From Benin, Elizabeth Omoko reports that Governor Godwin Obaseki wants Nigerians to join President Muhammadu Buhari to build an enviable nation. He said this during an interdenominational service to mark the country's independence anniversary, organized by the youth wing of the Christian Association of Nigeria. The government and people of India have felicitated with President Muhammadu Buhari, the Federal Republic of Nigeria, on the country's 60th independence anniversary. A letter from the President of India, Ram Nath Kovind, to the Nigerian leader notes that India and Nigeria have always enjoyed close and friendly relations and looks forward to strengthening the highly beneficial bilateral ties.
The 60th independence anniversary of Nigeria as a nation is celebrated amidst hope that a new Nigeria where patriotism to national peace and unity of purpose is possible. Ngozi Silva Technica reports that this was the core message of coalition of civil society organizations in Abuja.
Our collective resolve and determination is to transform our society and fatherland into an egalitarian society.
We have today, by this proclamation, retired the old Nigeria for a new Nigeria.
With this declaration, this assemblage of Nigerians was set to commemorate the Diamond Jubilee of Nigerian independence celebration. In spite of the challenges that the nation is going through in the areas of security and the ravaging effect of COVID-19 on the livelihood of Nigerians and the economy, members of this coalition of civil society organizations are optimistic that better days lies ahead. With commitment from the leaders and the led, transformation of the country is achievable.
With this spirit of celebration everywhere, there is hope of a better new Nigeria in the nearest future for all the citizens of Nigeria, including you and I, to enjoy life in the best way. From here in Area 1, Abuja, I am Ngozi Silva Technical, NTA News.
Thank you, Ngozi. Now, despite respect has finally come the way of 2,500 civil servants whose names were delisted from the Cross River State government payroll 13 months ago, Paul Abel has the good news.
The past few weeks, the streets of Calabar have been characterized with these protesters demanding for justice through the restoration of their names in the Cross River State payroll. That plea has finally received the attention of government, but first the governor takes time to explain what led to the quagmire. He emphasized that those in charge of the recruitment exercise did it with parochial sentiment and without recourse to him for final approval, despite the limited revenue base of the state.
I don't know the day that this recruitment was done, Nobody wrote to the governor. I earn an income that is less than the salary of this state. Today is end of month. As you go to bed, I know no sleep, looking for how I can pay September salary. Put yourself in my shoes. Then, without my knowledge, an additional 2,000 people onto the payroll, without being told, I can't believe this is happening.
To these persons, this response by the state government is the best independence gift.
I hope they will do things well for us.
When I get back my job, I'll be excited because that is what I've been crying for.
The verification exercise, which will last for 2 weeks, is expected to bring back livelihood to the successful persons after 13 months of lack and seeming despair. In Calabar, Paul Abel, NTA News.
For more on the celebration, let's join Adiola in Lagos. Hello, Adiola. Happy Independence.
Easy. Happy Independence to you too. Nigeria's national motto is unity and faith, peace and progress, a true representation of Africa's most populous nation. Its vast natural resources and rich cultural diversity are considered powerful instruments for economic development. Lynn Nanake takes a look at how well the country has tapped into the strength of her endowments in the promotion of unity after 60 years of nationhood.
September 1988, Nigeria launched the National Cultural Policy document with the aim of promoting the nation's rich and diverse cultural heritage through identification, development, and marketing of her cultural and tourism potential. Traveling across the length and breadth of the country, one distinguishing feature is the abundance of culture and tradition that express the beauty of more than 250 ethnic groups. The diverse languages, history, legends, customs and belief systems, as well as religions and food do not challenge Nigeria's cohesion and integration.
All cultures in Nigeria are beautiful cultures, and we are not doing too badly in this area.
Our visitors come and tell us, they said we are hospitable, they said we dress very fine, like what you are wearing and what I'm wearing.
To encourage unity among Nigerians, schemes like the National Youth Service Corps, NYSC, National Festival for Arts and Culture, NAFEST, intertribal and cross-cultural marriages are institutionalized.
I was born in the north of Yoruba parentage. My wife is from Abuja, the Cross River State.
Chief Ahmed Bola Tinubu, the Jagaba. Most people don't even know the origin of that particular title. It originates from a kingdom called Borgu Kingdom in present-day Niger State.
60 years after her independence, Nigeria has continued to export her traditions to the international community. And in spite of several challenges, the theme, Good People, Great Nation, still stands. In Lagos, Lynn Lenake, NTA News.
Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, on the occasion of Nigeria's independence celebration, hosted school children at the State House Marina. Nosa Osula reports that the governor educated his young visitors on Nigeria's history.
The governor, who took the children through the history of the nation's independence from colonial rule by showing them a video of the actual independence ceremony and speeches made by the founding fathers, such as Chief Obafemi Awolowo, Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, and Sir Amadu Bello, urged the children to see themselves as future leaders.
The only way you can make that plan work is you need to believe in your country. You need to believe in Nigeria. You need to see that this flag is what brings all of us together.
Some of the children who told him about their future aspirations asked him several questions, including what he was doing to feed the homeless.
I feel very happy and I'm very surprised to be talking to him today.
And now we learned all about the history and how Nigeria got colonized and they bounced back up.
Governor Sanwo-Olu explained the process of governance and Nigeria's electoral system to them, and also shared his administration's social security plans, as well as gradual reopening of schools, and apologized for keeping them at home for this long because of the ongoing coronavirus pandemic. The wife of the governor, Dr. Ibijoke Sanwo-Olu, who gave the vote of thanks, prayed for the children and also advised them to be good ambassadors of Lagos and Nigeria. In Lagos, Nusa, Osula, NTA News.
And that's a bit from Lagos. Nationwide will continue after this break, to stay on.
The Ogoni Cleanup is the largest remediation project in the world, the first time in Nigeria and the first time by any government. Launched in June 2016, it has gone down in history as one of Muhammadu Buhari's lasting legacies as the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
If the water and the land are polluted, the majority of our people there, are virtually being starved because they cannot fish, because the fish wouldn't be there. They cannot farm because nothing can grow there.
With some sites in the first phase of the 21 contracts awarded now completed and work beginning in the recently awarded new 36 sites, the project has progressed from stage to stage according to UNEP specifications.
Candidates who applied for admission into Ahmadu Bello University NTA TV College degree program in mass communication for 2020-2021 academic session are invited to a post-UTME and direct entry screening exercise scheduled as follows. Date: 15th to 17th October 2020. Venue: NTA TV College premises, Rayfield, Jos. Time: 9 a.m. daily. Screening fee: 2,000 naira, paid through the remitter platform in any commercial bank in favor of NTA TV College, Jos. Eligible candidates are those who indicated NTA TV College as their first choice and scored 180 and above in the 2020 UTME examination. Candidates are expected to come along with the originals of their O-level certificates, JAMB slips, birth certificates, indigenship certificate and proof of payment. Direct entry candidates are expected to come along with their original diploma certificates, A-level results in addition to the other credentials mentioned above. Shortlisted candidates without O-level results will not be cleared by JAMB. Therefore, all candidates are advised to visit any JAMB office or accredited CBT center nearest to them to upload their O-level results. Wearing a face mask is compulsory for admittance into the college premises, in addition to strict observance of other COVID-19 safety protocols. Announcer, Registrar.
Thanks for staying with the NTA. President Muhammadu Buhari has joined citizens of the United States of America in prayers for full recovery of President Donald Trump and his wife, who reportedly tested positive to COVID-19. In a statement, the president notes with sympathy that the incident of COVID-19 in the White House manifests the challenge posed by the pandemic across the world and difficulty in containing the spread. While wishing the American First family speedy turnaround in their current health status, President Buhari urges more compliance to protocols and adherence to advice of doctors, particularly epidemiologists, among Nigerians. Now to education. The federal government has ordered the reopening of Unity schools nationwide with effect from 12th of October 2020. The decision was reached after wide-range consultations with stakeholders in the education sector in the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19. Abubakar Usman Akwanga reports.
After consultation with the Presidential Committee on COVID-19, we have decided that all our 104 Unity schools should open on the 12th of October 2020. States and private owners will work out the modalities for the opening of schools under their purview.
The Minister of Education, Adamu advised schools to ensure strict compliance with COVID-19 safety protocols and other medical advisories streamlined by Nigerian Center for Disease Control. He warned that any school found wanting in abusing the set-out rules for the reopening of schools across the country will be appropriately sanctioned.
We should establish a staff-student committee for regular surveillance, monitoring and enforcement of all COVID guidelines. Let me warn that any school owner who does not comply with these guidelines and an outbreak occurs in the school due to negligence, they risk closure of their schools.
The minister explains that the decision does not translate to zero case of coronavirus pandemic, hence the need to report symptoms of the virus to relevant authorities to prevent spread of the disease. In Abuja, Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
Still on education, it is often said that every period has its own peculiarity. So, given the theme for Nigeria's 60th anniversary, Olayinka Ojo chronicles the development of the country's education sector, which has been described as collective efforts evolved to meet the aspirations of the citizens, focusing on the struggle and development of the nation's examination bodies. How has the sector fared? Let's hear from him.
Nkwaba Linus is a visually impaired person who has been able to attain high level of education, a feat that was difficult to achieve in Nigeria in her early stage of independence.
Because I love the job, I will want to continue with it and do what is required.
That is exactly what Nigeria wants to achieve, provide education to all her citizens irrespective of their status. This is in line with the fact that education is fundamental to the development of any nation and a catalyst for improving socio-economic well-being of the society. The education sector in Nigeria has had a checkered history, leading to what many describe as low quality.
In the 60s, the standards were high, and surprisingly, we are taught by teachers who went through what they call teachers' colleges. Curriculum was tailored to what we needed in our context. If I look at it to what is happening now, I say, where did we miss it?
Experts in the education sector have, however, agreed that the country's examination bodies have made significant improvement. It is all these that experts say shielded such bodies from feeling the heat of the COVID-19 pandemic, as ICT-driven measures came in handy and also drastically reduced sharp practices by candidates and their collaborators.
The truth of the matter is that funding mostly will always be the problem, but it shouldn't be the inhibition. It should not inhibit progress. At JAMB, for example, we believe that even the government had to come to reduce the charges that we had, because we are using technology to reduce cost. And because we are using technology to reduce cost, and we are also trying to ensure efficient management of the resources.
The world is based on knowledge economy. We could deepen the application of technology to increase the competencies of assessors and increase the instruments of procedure to examine people.
21st century teaching goes beyond a teacher just standing in front of the children. The teacher is no longer seen as the sage on the stage. You are now seen as a facilitator of learning, and that's what we call technology-mediated learning.
While emphasis on acquisition of digital literary skills in the 21st century is applauded by many, the challenge of adequate funding and introduction of more innovative methods are suggested to propel the country into the path of development as it looks back at her 60 years of existence as a sovereign nation. Olayinka Ojo, NTA News.
And preparations to establish a National Library of Nigeria in Akwa Ibom State is on top gear. Chief Executive Officer, National Library of Nigeria, announced this during a courtesy visit to the State Governor at the Government House, Oyo. Charity James has details.
Library Decree of 1970 provides for National Library of Nigeria to have branches in the 36 states of the Federation to ease its functions of setting standard for library and information services. Sequel to this preparation at ensuring that a national library is established in Akwa Ibom State is already in progress, with a visit by delegation of National Library of Nigeria to the states. Chief Executive Officer, National Library of Nigeria, and leader of the delegation, while holding talks with the state government, commended the state government for providing a site for the establishment of a national library in the states.
Branches in all states of the Federation. Like I told you, we already have in 27 states, 9 states
have. But when we go to 9 states, 5 states have responded, including Akwa Ibom State. And in our 2021 budget, we've already included Akwa Ibom State.
The deputy governor, who hosted the guests on behalf of the state governor, appreciated the federal government for considering Akwa Ibom State for the establishment of the National Library, which he said was long due. He also urged them to make proper use of the land given by the state government for siting of the National Library of Standard.
Education is very important for us in Akwa Ibom. I'm sure you know that. And for that reason, anything that will help us continue to promote what we are trying to do for our young people, the library happens to be one of them.
The National Library of Nigeria, among other things, has the responsibility of issuing International Standard Book Number and International Standard Serial Number. In Uyo, Charity James, NTA News.
This is Nationwide on NTA. Time now to join Kemi in Ibadan for more reports on the independence celebration. Hello, Kemi.
Beth, and welcome to Ibadan. Nigerians have been urged to work for and believe in Nigeria's unity and peaceful coexistence as means for attaining growth and sustainable development. Governor Seyi Makinde stated this on the occasion of the nation's 60th independence celebration, which was marked in Oyo State with an independence walk. Ayomiko Ajibola has the details.
The celebration usually comes with fanfare every year as the country marks its 60th independence anniversary. However, the trajectory is different here in Oyo State, no thanks to the outbreak of COVID-19 across the country. And so, it was an independent walk led by Governor Seyi Makinde from the Government House Arcade, Agodi, to Total Garden, felicitating with the people of Oyo State and Nigerians on the occasion of the nation's 60th independence anniversary. Governor Makinde called for renewed patriotism, perseverance, and prayers to enable the country to wade through the challenges of social economy facing the country.
A lot of people may not see anything good in Nigeria over the past 60 years, but it's not everything that is wrong with Nigeria. We've gotten certain things right, and we should focus on those things that we have gotten right and try to build on it.
Reiterated the commitment of his administration to deliver on his promises and assure the people that the hope and faith they have in his government will not be taken for granted. In Ibadan, Ayomiku Ajibola, NTA News.
The 60th independence anniversary, though low-key, had a colorful military parade and cultural presentations in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital. The state governor, Prince Dakwa Abiodun, enjoined Nigerians to exercise more patience in the face of challenges and shun tendencies that can dismember the country. Adini Itai will complete the report.
Despite being a low-key celebration because of the COVID-19 pandemic, the 60th independence anniversary celebration in Ogun State had all its usual trappings with a military parade as the major highlight. Speaking after inspecting the parade, Ogun State Governor Prince Dakwa Abiodun said there is no turning back in the journey of nationhood for Nigeria. Having surmounted several hurdles in the past, Nigeria, the governor notes, must use its current challenges as a springboard for a greater tomorrow.
All we need to do is to bring our collective will to harness our potentials. We must also accept that development is a process. We must also know that the process has a cost. We will have to make painful but necessary decisions.
While imploring Nigerians to look beyond their pains and unite for the future of the country, dignitaries, including traditional rulers, cautioned against the drumbeat of disunity. There were cultural presentations which highlight the theme of the anniversary, after which the governor led other dignitaries to cut the anniversary cake. From the arcade ground, Governor's Office, Okimosan, Abeokuta, Adini Taiwo, NTA News.
And that's it from here. Elizabeth, it's back to you.
Thank you, Kemi. Now, up to flood assessment as flood continues to ravage more communities and farmlands in Jigawa State. The federal government has set in a team of experts to assess the situation with a view to preferring lasting solution to the problem. Ibrahim Bello Gunda reports that the team met with the Emir of Dutse and government officials before proceeding to the affected areas.
Flood situation was more than 30 years ago. It has been confirmed that more than 40 people lost their lives, hundreds of communities displaced, and over 100,000 hectares of farmland destroyed. The Emir of Dutse, Muhammad Sanusi, welcomed the water engineers assessment team in his palace, attributing some of the causes of flood to effect of climate change.
That you look at the river basin budget, you look at the silting of the Chala, Gorge Dam, and together. You look at the opening of those tributaries from Kapung Hausa, the 3 tributaries that are blocked, open them. Get them open so that the river can flow.
Give recommendation to government on the problem at hand, the affected people, how to get palliative for them, and how to provide structural solutions, permanent structural solution to the problem of flooding.
The team comprises experts from Federal Ministry of Water Resources being guided by officials of the Jigawa State Government to visit the worst-hit, flood-prone areas and thereafter submit their findings to Federal Government for its quick intervention. In Dutse, Ibrahim Bello Gunda, NTA News.
Into electrification, the House of Representatives Committee on Power says the federal government's investment in the power sector is to ensure improved service delivery. While on an oversight visit to the Kainji hydropower plant in Niger State, the committee emphasized that stakeholders in the sector should strive to meet demands of Nigerians. Chairman of the committee, Representative Magaji Idao Aliu, reiterated that the National Assembly, in acknowledging the role of electricity as a major driver of the economy, is initiating reforms towards efficiency in the sector.
We are there to add value, to ensure things are done differently in this country. The 9th Assembly has a blueprint, is to move this country forward.
The delegation, while in Kainji, paid a courtesy call on the royal father, the Itoro of Borgo, Haliru Mohammed, and urged him to mobilize the subjects to ensure protection of power facilities in the domain. 333,000 artisans and business operators are to benefit from the Artisan and Transport Sector Intervention Fund of 75 billion naira MSME's Survival Fund launched by the federal government. Kunle Adeye reports.
Olusegun Gabriel is an auto mechanic. His dream of expanding his business is about to become a reality. John is among 333,000 artisans and business operators to benefit from the Artisan and Transport Sector Intervention Fund of the 75 billion naira MSME Survivor Fund launched less than a month ago. John is not alone. Esther Ehobame Michela supports women in vulnerable conditions. Both of them are optimistic that the intervention will mitigate impact of COVID-19 on their businesses.
Now that government is trying to help our association in order to have access to this very grant, is going to help us a lot.
The numerous associates that we work with, there has been joy among all of them that government will recognize them, remember them, and that there's such a simple process for them to be able to get something to expand and revive their businesses.
The impact of COVID-19 has been felt by all sectors, including the MSMEs. The intervention fund is part of government stimulus plan to address impact of the pandemic on the economy. Government officials say it is targeting the sector because of its huge contribution to the country's GDP and workforce.
One of the core areas of concentration of the Buhari administration has been the MSME and artisan space. And you're all aware several MSME clinics, at least more than 25, have taken place so far.
And we have to provide for them to enable them get some kind of assistance from the government to enable them to continue running their businesses in all capacities.
John, Esther and others like them would ultimately access necessary funds to actualize their dreams. In Abuja, Kunle Adeyeye, NTA News.
The federal government remains focused on its plans to accelerate infrastructural development as a fundamental necessity to increase revenue generation and make life meaningful to all citizens. Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, reiterated this on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria while discussing Nigeria at 60 matters arising. Oluseyi Diagbo reports.
The curtain might have fallen on the celebration of Nigeria at 60, but Nigerians are still engaged in discussions on the country's development trajectory. Across different television programs and platforms, government officials have been engaged on the impact of government programs and policies, especially on infrastructural development in the country. On Good Morning Nigeria, Minister of Information and Culture gave insight into the expected outcomes of the recently inaugurated Itakpe-Ajaokuta Warri Railway and other ongoing infrastructural projects across the country.
Nothing opens up a country like transportation, especially rail transportation. You can imagine the amount of, the congestion that will go on, that will leave the axis. Not to talk about the economy you are going to create along that corridor. Or do you want to go to the area of power? Hopefully, by the end of 2021, at least 7,000 megawatts of power will be reaching, the homes.
The minister also used the platform to speak on the wisdom behind the recently approved Kano-Katsina Maradi rail line.
Because we do not have the road infrastructure that would encourage Niger, for instance, to use our seaports, we believe that if we have a train service, then we'll be able to take over the import and export business of Niger Republic. That is a simple reason why we did so.
It was the high point of the conversation in which Lai Mohammed equally acknowledged the contributions of the founding fathers, the present leadership, as well as the resilience of Nigerians. In Abuja, Oluseyi Diagbo, NTA News.
To security matters, ahead of the Presidential Commission, Officer Cadets of Course 67 of Nigeria Defense Academy have been advised to embrace the tenets of integrity, discipline, and above all, love for their country as they get set to open a new vista in their career. Comptroller General Nigeria Customs Service Colonel Hamid Ali, retired, gave the advice during the beating of retreat at the Nigeria Defense Academy, Kaduna. Abdullahi Mohammed reports.
Beating of the retreat, a military tradition dating back to the 16th century. It was used as a means of communication both in the theater of war, military training and administration. In the Nigeria Defense Academy, it signals the end of military training for cadets. The Controller General Nigeria Customs Service, Colonel Hamid Ali, retired, told the cadets that 44 years ago he was in their shoes and revealed the secrets of his success as a military officer.
I believe that what I've learned here has carried me through to where I am today in terms of discipline, in terms of commitment, in terms of respect.
679 cadets in short service army are set to be commissioned by President Muhammadu Buhari in about 9 days. In Kaduna, Abdullahi Muhammad, NTA News.
And the armed forces of Nigeria have arrested a total of 869 criminal elements and rescued 321 kidnapped victims across the country. The coordinator, Defense Media Operations, Major General John Enenche, who disclosed this during a periodic news conference, says the feat were recorded between 1st of July and 30th of September 2020. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports.
Details of the operations indicate 91 kidnapped victims were rescued and 312 bandits killed in combat in the northwest. In the northeast, troops of Operation Lafia Dole eliminated 450 terrorists and rescued 66 kidnapped victims. Similarly, 107 bandits and militias were neutralized in the north central by troops of Operation Safe Haven, Wild Stroke and Thunderstrike. In the same vein, troops of Operation Delta Safe have upscaled the fight against economic sabotage in the South-South.
A cumulative total of 8,890,300 liters of automotive gas oil and 33,500 liters of double-purpose kerosene were impounded by the troops of Operation Delta Safe. In the same vein, the gallant troops immobilized a total of 70 illegal refining sites, 66 dugout pits, 134 metal storage tanks within the period.
During the period under review, 18 kidnapped victims were liberated, 46 pirates apprehended, while 18 illegal refining sites were destroyed in Abuja. Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Nigerian Air Force has inaugurated an expanded bulk aviation field installation to enhance operations of aircrafts for monitoring the Nigerian exclusive economic zones and other operations. Robinson Deratide has details.
The expanded aviation fuel storage was initially a dome with the capacity of about 100,000 liters, meant to service only aircraft flying within the 115 Special Operations Group in Port Harcourt. The facility was expanded to a volume of 340,000 liters with a modern laboratory to ensure the quality of the fuel before usage. Special interest of the project is the easy access to aviation fuel to service special mission aircraft for the monitoring of the Nigerian exclusive economic zones.
Bulk fuel installation is talking about provision of fuel to our aircrafts. And apart from the provision of fuel that is going to be used for our operations, our personnel also are going to be deployed here to come and land.
With the expansion, we shall be able to service the Delta operators of flying within the Port Harcourt military aerodrome here, as well as providing the Nigerian Air Force operational needs.
The facility also have administrative block and generating plant to ensure efficient service. In Port Harcourt, Robinson Deratide, NTA News.
And for the next set of reports, let's join Mohammed in our Maiduguri studio. Hello, Mohammed.
Hello, Elizabeth, and welcome to Maiduguri. Stakeholders from northeast Nigeria say investment in rebuilding efforts of communities are only as sustainable as the ability of the security forces in stopping insurgency attacks. This was part of submission at a national discourse on peace, security and development organized by Northeast Civil Society Forum to mark Nigeria's Diamond Jubilee celebration at Peace Ambassador Center for Humanitarian Empowerment in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital. The report.
One nation bound in freedom, peace and unity.
With the theme for this year's independence, Together at 60, civil societies in the Northeast deemed it proper to chart the way forward with a physical panel of discussants and stakeholders from various states of the region who also participated virtually via Zoom meeting. Various topics were presented by resource persons on Taming the Nation at 60, challenges of nation building, the eyes of the youth, as well as prospects for the Northeast and developing the voice of the people through civil societies.
It's a moment for us to reflect, to celebrate, and to also plan for the future of our children and unborns.
We need to reintegrate ourselves and take one another as brothers and sisters and take ourselves as one nation, one people.
The forum submitted that the country has been shortchanged by a myriad of challenges, mostly man-made, which can be addressed by accountability, justice, and transparency. The speakers that included Professor Umar Kyari Sandabe, Dr. Mero Mandara, Professor Ibrahim Umara, among others, dwelt extensively on workable solutions for the country and region, citing other key areas for development such as national identity, access to education at the grassroots, and youth empowerment and employment opportunities.
We need to beef up our funding, our support at all levels to the educational sector to advance, if at all we want to progress as a nation.
The stakeholders observed that celebration of independence is a stock-taking act of patriotism to ensure that sacrifices of Nigeria's founding fathers should not be forgotten. Borno State government has given an assurance to support the Hajj saving scheme of the National Hajj Commission. Governor Babagana Umar Zulum gave the assurance when he received the executive chairman, Zikrullah Adekule Hassan, and management staff of the commission on a courtesy call at the government house, Maiduguri. Mohammed Goni reports.
Professor Bagana Umar said to ensure smooth take-up of the program, he will direct the state's head of service to interface with the commission to attain the said objective and further advise the commission to ensure prudence and accountability in managing the saved funds. The government also expressed displeasure over the high rate of accommodation charges collected by state's Hajj boards against the fees approved by the Saudi government and called for a downward review.
The entire operation has to be looked at, including the transportation, accommodation, and feeding. Without looking into these ingredients, I think we shall never make headway in reducing the cost of the Hajj operations.
On digitalization of Hajj process, the governor informed the NAHCON team that the state government will provide all that is needed to check corruption in the system. He appreciated the planned 2021 inaugural flight to be made from Maiduguri, adding that the state government will reciprocate the gesture by prompt payments to the commission. Executive chairman of the commission, Zikrullah Hassan, who sympathized with Governor Zulum over the recent attack on his convoy, said the visit was also to introduce new members of the commission who have assumed office this year and to intimate Governor Zulum on preparation for 2021 Hajj exercise. The executive chairman added that due to increase in Hajj fare, the 95,000 slots allocated to Nigeria in the previous exercise was not fully utilized and called for reduction in the Hajj fare. Zikrullah pointed out that the Hajj savings scheme was introduced to enable intending pilgrims to pay their fares through installments. In Maiduguri, Mahmoud Goni, NTA News.
And that is it from Maiduguri. Nationwide returns to Abuja with Elizabeth. Happy Independence, Nigeria.
Happy Independence, Mohammed. Thank you so much. You're watching Nationwide. Let's now take a second break. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Glad to know you're still there. As Nigeria celebrates its 60th independence anniversary, some religious leaders are throwing up the issue of spiritual guidance and counseling as part of ingredients necessary for a prosperous and unified country. This came to the fore when members of the West African Action Network on Small Arms visited the Chief Imam of Apo Legislative Mosque. The non-governmental organization is urging religious leaders to complement government's peace efforts by using their role in the society to address cracks capable of affecting the country negatively. The group says as role models in society, religious leaders should use their pulpits to educate the public on the need to shun violence and embrace peace and tolerance in order to create an enabling environment for development.
Nigeria has been challenged from many dimensions of life, security-wise, economic-wise, and other ways. So it is our duty to put hand in hand with the government and whoever wants to build peace in Nigeria.
We are here to identify with the peace initiatives of Sheikh Nuru Khalil and ratification of his appointment as our advisory council member on interreligious affairs.
To electoral matters, as electorate counts down to October 10 governorship election in Ondo State, the police have warned political thugs and supporters of governorship candidates who have intentions of causing trouble to stay clear of the state or risk their consequences. The warning is coming following cases of violence caused by some alleged political thugs in some parts of the state during the ongoing electioneering campaigns. Olubukola Aduo reports.
As the October 10 governorship poll in Ondo State to elect the next occupant of Alagbaka Government House beckons, governorship candidates are not leaving any stone unturned in soliciting votes from the electorate through various means, especially open-air campaigns. However, there have been pockets of violence recorded in some parts of the state during these campaigns. The most recent was the bloody clash by some alleged political thugs at Ikpele, our local government area of the state, where innocent people were injured and properties destroyed.
We've arrested some people in respect of that fracas that happened at Ikpele, and I think that's already in the court. We intend to do more until we achieve the desired peace for the election that the police and everyone is looking forward for.
Some of the victims of these unfortunate incidents are now receiving treatment at the Federal Medical Center, Owo. Political experts who described political violence as hindrance to the electoral process called for prompt intervention to stop the trend and bring perpetrators to justice to serve as deterrent to those using the weapon of violence to advance their political ambition.
What politicians should dissipate their energy on is to woo voters, is to sell themselves, sell their manifestos to voters. Any politician, any party that is engaged in violence is already defeated, within itself.
Nobody should allow his or herself to be influenced or be used as tools in the hand of politicians for violence. We should maintain peace.
Stakeholders also want government, political parties, the police and the electorate to be vigilant, especially in the last few days preceding the election, to keep the current political tension in the state from further escalating. In Akure, Olubukola Aduwo, NTA News.
The United Nations General Assembly is calling for an urgent action, strong political support and targeted investments for women to actualize the goals set 25 years ago in Beijing towards preventing the gains achieved painstakingly over the decades from being at risk. This was at a high-level meeting on the sidelines of the 75th anniversary of the organization. Adebola Brooklyn Sunday reports.
The NGO Forum on Women.
In 1995, women from all over the world converged on Beijing in China for the 4th World Conference on Women. In a resolution, they agreed to promote a set of principles concerning the equality of men and women. 25 years down the lane, UN Women said sad stories and millions more are unfolding daily in the lives of girls around the world, which shows that there is still a long way to go, as 1 woman in 3 experiences the trauma of violence in her lifetime.
Even where progress is made, it may not reach the women and girls who need it most. More than 300,000 a year should not still be dying from pregnancy-related causes.
We look at Colombia, Nigeria, Pakistan, and United States, and we show the huge inequalities between different groups of women in these countries in different aspects of the SDG agenda.
Female genital mutilation, we estimate that at least 200 women and girls in 30 countries have undergone FGM.
World Conference on Women.
The high-level meeting dwelled extensively on accelerating the realization of gender equality and empowerment of all women and girls, especially as they are the worst affected by the dreaded coronavirus and other violence in the world.
And the needs of women who have been forcibly displaced are addressed. We are all safer. When women are engaged in peace processes, we are more likely to have lasting peace.
It is the only way we will implement the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and achieve lives of dignity and opportunity for all.
The forum wants all governments in the world to know that the rights of a woman or a girl child are not negotiable and appealed for their defense, which it said are essential for full gender equality, women's respect and empowerment. Adebola Brooklyn Sunday, NTA News.
And in other news, persons with albinism in Nigeria are appealing to the federal government to help look into the sudden halt of skin cancer treatment at the National Hospital as the death toll among albinos with skin cancer increases. This was at a media briefing in Abuja. Viewers' discretion is advised.
I'm feeling pain in my body, and it started for a week, like 2 months. I want Nigeria to help me.
His pains are reasons behind this visit to the Albino Foundation to solicit support and appeal to the government to look into the halting of treatment of skin cancer at the National Hospital.
We are in a desperate situation which requires desperate response. I want to again and again use this opportunity to call on the President, who have shown himself as the President of persons with disability, by signing the law. We're grateful, but now is implementation.
Abdul Ganiyu Muhammad is 15 from Kogi State and has had a surgery once but the cancer resurfaced, leading to malignancy.
I don't want my pikin to die.
Considering the nature of persons with albinism, the foundation is calling on kind-hearted Nigerians and the government to assist and save the lives of persons with albinism, as well as strengthen awareness campaigns to reduce stigmatization and neglect by medical practitioners. In Abuja. And that ends Nationwide today. Thank you so much for being a part of it. Don't forget to connect with the NTA. Be a star. Kick against rape and rapists. Good evening.